Hi folks, Andy here, and yeah, I'm going to film a quick rant video. I didn't really want to cover this subject because, to be honest, Iaido isn't something that I'm involved in. I don't practice it, and I don't know much about the community. But it's blown up into such a big thing. I think it would be wrong of me not to address it at all. Sorry, I got a bit of a frog in my throat there. I'm filming this just at home on my personal laptop, just with the basic camera. So apologies for the quality and the mic and stuff like that. I'm sure you'll forgive me. So not a great topic, I'm afraid. I know I've got a couple of questions based off the other video that I put up yesterday, but I'll get to them next time. I really want to just throw something up about this and then have done with it. Then it's out of the way. I'm going to start off by saying though that, like I said, I'm not an EI person. I don't do EI. I know a little bit about it. I know quite a lot about Iaido swords and Shinken because I've had a lot of experience in Japan of dealing with them. So I do know about swords and what have you, but I don't actually know about EI. I don't know about the community, and I certainly don't know any of the people involved in this scandal. Okay, so basically, I think it was yesterday or the day before, a story broke in the, I think it was originally the Asahi newspaper. Or was it I think it first came out in the Sankei Shimbun, it says. But I'm using the Asahi Shimbun newspaper website to look at the article. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go over quickly what is alleged to have happened, and also the All Japan Kendo Federation's response to it. Again, I'm not really an EI person, but this seems to be affecting the entire association as a whole, at least in some way. It kind of tarnishes it. Certainly. I'm not going to talk about anybody specifically that's been involved because it is quite a difficult subject, but obviously it's something that's very, very unfortunate. So, but it's all out in the open now. So I think it's fair game to talk about. So first, let's have a look at the news article. I'll post a link to both the news article and the All Japan Kendo Federation's response to the sort of press release as well, which is in English. Down below, but basically it's talking about the Japanese martials sword art of Iaido has been blooded by a bribery scandal in which candidates paid cash to judges provided over their rank promotion tests. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and read out the whole article. Gleaming through it, what I can see is it seems to be people were essentially passing money to the judges that would award them, particularly the shogo. So that's I think in this case it's mainly been the issue with the hanshi, the award of hanshi. But I could be wrong. It could be with other things as well. I'm sure it sounds like from the press release from the All Japan Federation that it's happened on several different levels, not just with that. According to this article, it says that a man holding the 8th dan and he had the Kyoshi rank. So obviously he was going for the Hanshi test. This is in 2012. He offered a total of 1 million Japanese yen. That's about $9,000, just shy of $9,000. So it's a lot of money. It's not a small amount of money. He offered that to the judges as a kind of a payment, or it's a bribe really, in order for him to be passed. The judges admitted that they accepted the bribe, and they admitted they accepted it in response to the investigation. They haven't come up. It's not that they've come forward themselves and admitted this. They've the All Japan Kendo Federation has made an investigation into these people, and they've when put under investigation, that's when they've admitted it. Apparently, as well, it says that in 2016, a man who applied for the promotion test for 8th dan, so this is not the shogo, this is actually the test for the 8th dan, also passed. He handed about. Sorry, when I said passed, I don't mean passed the exam. I mean he handed. Passes in as in handed about 2 million yen to his instructor to distribute among the judges. However, the money he offered was thrown back in his face by the instructor without distributing it to the judges. So that money never made it to the judges. I'm reading the English version of the article. I haven't read the Japanese version, but it doesn't make it clear here whether the instructor threw the money back in his face because he didn't like the idea of him trying to bribe the judges, or that because it wasn't enough, or what. We don't know the reason why it was thrown back in his face, so I won't speculate on that. I don't know the facts. So what we do know is that money never made it to the judges, but he did attempt to make the payment. So well, that's like I say, I'll link to the full article, but let's have a look at the press release. All right, so it leads off. This is from a guy called Mr. Matsubara, who's the media contact from the All Japan Kendo Federation. Says the morning edition of the Sankei Shimbun on August 17th published a story entitled "Improper Monetary Payment for Iaido Promotion." It says the All Japan Kendo Federation admitted that there was inappropriate money transfer in Iaido, Shogo/Dan examinations several years ago, and that the inappropriate practice of monetary delivery at the time of approaching the examination has existed from old times. So this is difficult because I'm not sure like the accuracy, not the accuracy, but the translation on this isn't super brilliant, I'll be honest. So the English in it is a little bit unusual, but I'm trying to kind of fudge through it with the translation that they've got, plus my knowledge of Japanese and how it was probably what it was originally supposed to say. So it says delivery at the time of approaching the examinations. So it means that people were paying this money before the exam. So it was like at the time when you were coming up for the exam, and that's when people were paying this money, and it's existed from old times. It's something that's been going on for a while. It says that in November 2017, the All Japan Kendo Federation has imposed punitive measures, so they've punished the people, those involved. This is explained in detail in the December 2017 All Japan Kendo Federation Bulletin Kensou, which is their sort of magazine. So then follows a sort of translation from the December 2017 edition. So it's pretty much a year old almost. Okay, so we're sort of, well, it's not quite a year, but it's like 9 months old or whatever. But obviously it's blown up in the media, so it's kind of reared its ugly head again. Kind of goes on to say that regarding the discipline in the All Japan Kendo Federation, Iaido, the Preliminary Advisory Examination Committee, initiated an investigation on January 10th this year. So it started investigating from January of 2017. There was 28 people interviewed, and they made detailed records. And basically, the committee submitted an opinion on June 20th after the number of meetings as much as 30 times. That the official authority of the disciplinary committee should be exercised. So what that basically says is, after they've interviewed all these people, they've decided that they need to take action, and some people need to be punished. So there's been some wrongdoing. The president of the All Japan Kendo Federation consulted the disciplinary committee. So that's the group of people that decide who's going to get punished or how they're going to get punished, on July the 4th. And the committee replied on November 1st by submitting the report after 10 meetings, including questioning those who took the examination. So they basically questioned everybody who took the examinations. So I guess that's people who were actually testing, not the people who did the examining. Okay, so this is where it gets into saying it. The disciplinary committee certified that the inappropriate practices of monetary payment at the time of approaching the examination existed for many years. So that's going back to what it said in the first bit, where the idea of people paying money in the run-up to their grading, and it's something that's been going on for a long time. They decided that this would be appropriate to take disciplinary action against the former chairman of the Iaido committee, the former committee members, and the former examiners and examinees. So there's now they've decided, basically what they said is they decided to punish the person in charge of the Iaido committee, the people in the committee, the examiners who took the money, and of course the examinees as well who paid the money. In response, the president of the All Japan Kendo Federation imposed a disciplinary action such as voluntary return / suspension of individual memberships, shogo / dan to the above mentioned stakeholders according to the weight of responsibility. So this means that some people were actually kicked out of the federation, because it says some people quit the federation, like on they were encouraged to quit. I guess it says voluntary return and then / suspension of individual memberships. So some people actually quit the federation, either voluntary or were suspended. The shogo / dan to the above mentioned stakeholders. So some people also lost the grades that they were awarded as well, which I suppose follows if they'd bribed people to be awarded them. But that depends on who they were and how responsible they were in the scandal. Okay. It says, this is an interesting sentence. It says, as the former examiners who are subject to the disciplinary action frankly confessed the fact of accepting money and showed deep remorse for said action, the execution of disciplinary action has been suspended for a certain period of time based on the regulation of the disciplinary committee of the All Japan Kendo Federation. So I guess what that means is it's a little bit tough to follow, but I think what that means is that the people getting kicked out, the people having their downgrades taken away and stuff like that, they said this is the punishment for what you've done, but because you've confessed and because you show deep remorse, we feel that you're sorry, we're putting that punishment on hold for a certain period of time, provided you kind of behave yourself going forward. And it goes into detail in terms of, I think if I understand it right, I think that's what it means. If anyone knows differently or understands it differently, then you know where the comment section is. Former examiners et al. Who are subject to the above discipline have been requested to submit a pledge regarding the following 2 points. So the people that were going to be punished in this way, that were involved in it all, have been asked to make a promise and submit a pledge regarding the following 2 points. It says to refrain from all official events of the All Japan Kendo Federation Iaido, so they're not allowed to be involved in any official All Japan Kendo Federation Iaido events, and to silently watch the efforts by Iaido committee junior members to improve the Iaido world. So this means that basically they've got to. It says silently watch, and it's a little bit vague. I guess you could interpret that as keep your nose out, let the new people, the people underneath you now take over because you guys are messed up, and silently watch, basically. Whether it means also, kind of assisting guide, I don't think it means that. It says silently watch, so I think that's pretty clear, at least during this probation period. So then they go on. This is quite interesting. It says it's been confirmed the circumstances behind the situation are the following factors. So basically, they've gone into bullet points as to how this situation happened, which I think is quite interesting. It says, number one, because the Iaido examination contains a large proportion of subjective factors in the assessment of examinees' performances, gaining examiner's favour was considered advantageous. So that means because there's no strict rule, you don't have to tick a certain number of boxes. It's not like passing an exam, like I don't know, I've never sat like a law exam or something like that, but where you've got a specific correct answer. At the end of the day, it's the examiner's opinion as to whether you pass or not. It's subjective. So the idea is that by getting in with those guys, making them like you, you could gain favour. It could be advantageous. Number two, in the high-level shogo / dan examination, a situation in which Iaido committee members doubled as examiners had been in existence for many years, and the names of examiners were also known to examinees, so they could easily be contacted before the examination. So what that means is that basically everybody knew who was the examiner, who was going to be making making decisions, and they knew it beforehand, and everybody knew, so it'd be easy to get in touch with them and offer them money. offering them the money, basically. 3, once appointed as an examiner, it's customary to continue the term of appointment for many years. So once somebody was decided as an examiner, they kept on being the examiner. So it was quite obvious who was going to be on the panel. 4, because the Iaido examination placed high value on Koryu, those leading the major schools had an enormous influence on the examinations. So again, I'm not an Iaido sort of buff, but basically because the examination put a lot of emphasis apparently on the kind of Koryu, the major schools had an enormous influence on the examination. So I guess they didn't like the fact that if you maybe, they had influence from a particular school could hold more influence than another school. 5, as a result of circumstances, the fixed number of persons in a leadership position of the All Japan Kendo Federation Iaido held tangible and intangible reign of power over the entire All Japan Kendo Federation Iaido. So essentially what it means is because of everything that we just said, all the other points, there was just a few people that essentially held all the power in the Federation Iaido section. So what they're going to do about it says they're going to conduct the following measures. The Iaido committee members will be renewed and the term is to be set to be 2 years. So the actual Iaido committee, the members are going to have to now change every 2 years. So you can't just get one sort of person stuck in it the whole time, or one group of people that are continuing this sort of bad behaviour. The name of the examiners will be treated as highly confidential until the day of the examination. So now it's a secret who's going to be on the grading panels until the actual day. It seems like a small community, though. I feel like that'll be difficult to actually carry out, but we'll see. Iaido committee members will be excluded as an examiner. So if you're on the Iaido committee, you can't also be an examiner. It's one or the other. And the Dan examination will be based only on All Japan Kendo Federation EI. I guess that's what's commonly known as Seitei EI. Excluding all Koryu. So it doesn't matter what school you're from or whatever, you've got to do the All Japan Kendo Federation EI. So it says based on all the reforms, they've decided to hold the 8th Dan examination, which was cancelled in May, on November 24th. I guess this was, when was this published? So this was published December, I said, didn't I? So last year they didn't have an 8th Dan exam because of all this scandal, and have decided to have one this year on November 24th. So the new Iaido committee has cautioned all members to rigorously conform to the ethics concerning monetary transfer among members and address to straighten up as a member of All Japan Kendo Federation Iaido by refraining from giving and accepting souvenirs at seminars and conventions. So this is quite a big thing because the culture of giving and receiving gifts, omiyage, it's called omiyage, of giving and receiving gifts in Japanese culture is huge. So I think it says this, that's going to be sort of a no can do sort of thing, a no-go for giving and receiving gifts. But once you've had something like this happen, well, I can kind of see why that is. So what do you think? What do you think about it? I'm not gonna go into too much about what I think. I probably think the same as most people. It says that the punishment for this, like I said, would be kicking people out of the federation or getting them to resign. And what I do find interesting is, like I say, it says that the execution of the disciplinary action has been suspended for a certain period based on the regulations. So that's where they've kind of decided not to apply that disciplinary action, because this is a bit I feel a little bit uneasy about, because it says the people frankly confessed to the fact of accepting the money and they showed deep remorse for the said action. Now, I mean, Yeah, they confessed because they were under investigation. They show remorse because they got caught. Is where I sort of fall on that one. It's not like these guys came forward and were like, "Oh, we've got a guilty conscience. We shouldn't really be doing this, and this is what we've done." They got put under investigation. They got caught, and they said, "Oh, we're really really sorry," and that's how they've kind of got out of it. But then, having said that, like I said, I think the Iaido community, particularly, it's much smaller than the Kendo community. It wouldn't surprise me if there's more people doing Kendo Iaido outside of Japan than there is inside of Japan. I literally haven't seen much practice of Iaido in Japan. There's quite a lot in Kyoto when I was living in Kyoto, at the Budo Center. Having said that, but I don't know, I might be wrong. But it is a much smaller community than the Kendo community. So, you can't just, obviously these guys examining people for 8th Dan and for the Hanshi, these guys are all going to be that top level as well. So kicking all those guys out of the association or taking the grades off them, that's quite a big blow to the association, to the Iaido, community in general. So I can see why they don't really want to jump ahead and do that. But then, what about people that have paid for the grade? Should that grade then be taken away from them? So it's a difficult one. Anyway, I just wanted to go through what's happened. It's a very unfortunate situation. I'm very sorry to hear that it's happened. It's very, very disappointing, especially for it's tarnished the association as a whole. It's not it isn't really virtuous. It isn't really what we're supposed to be about with Budo. That's not to say there's no corruption at all in Kendo. I'm sure there is. I'm not going to speculate where and what, though. But yeah, that's basically it. That's what I've gleaned from the thing, from the article, from the press release. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think about it? And that's about it for me today. I'm going to go and play with my kids now, and then I'll probably come back to you next week with some more Kendo rants after I've filmed some episodes of the Kendo show tomorrow. So yeah, leave me a comment what you'd like me to rant about next time. Let me know what you'd like to see in a future episode of the Kendo show. And shop at KendoStar. Don't forget that. That's the super important one, because it's a really, really good equipment shop. And I run it, and it pays for what we're doing. Okay. So with that being said, I'll see you next time.